happiest with predictability and safety. Person C feels happiest with community and stability. An AI that gives everybody the same environment might actually make all three less happy. So a smarter system might say, open quote, don't maximize happiness globally. Maximize each person's ability to pursue their own version of a good life within boundaries that protect other people. Close quote. That's a very different philosophy. Your country example gets interesting. Different societies make different trade-offs between freedom, restriction, risk, safety, individual choice, collective rules, experimentation, predictability. And someone who loves experimentation may feel constrained in one environment and liberated in another. But there's an important distinction. Freedom isn't simply fewer laws. Sometimes a restriction actually creates more usable freedom. For example, imagine a road with absolutely no traffic. Technically, you have enormous freedom. But you're also afraid that someone might suddenly drive across your path. A few shared rules can make it possible for everyone to move around with greater confidence. So the interesting question isn't, open quote, how many restrictions should there be? Close quote. It's, open quote, which restrictions protect people's ability to live freely and which restrictions unnecessarily suffocate? That's a much harder problem. And this changes how I design an AI-run society. Instead of telling the AI, open quote, make everyone happy, close quote, I'd give it a completely different mission. Open quote, maximize the space where people can safely explore different ways of living. Close quote. Then the AI could potentially say, you want creativity? Here's more room for it. You want adventure? Here's where you can pursue it safely. You want quiet and stability? Here's an environment optimized for that. You want to experiment? Here's a place where experimentation is permitted. The AI becomes less like a parent saying, open quote, this is what's best for you, close quote, and more like a cartographer saying, open quote, here are the possibilities, here are the consequences, choose, close quote. That connects directly to what you were saying earlier about differences. Maybe the ultimate mistake would be trying to create one perfect world. Maybe the better world would be one with many different worlds inside it. Different people could explore different versions of life, and AI could help people understand the trade-offs without automatically deciding which version is correct. That's a much more interesting vision of AI to me. Not perfection imposed from above, but possibility expanded outward.
Back over to where Sphinx is at.
A straight, quick 9 points for them. They started in 7th place at 95 points. They are the line to beat as of now, but already at the course of the game, they move up into 6th place, passing Z-Dog and Goofy. Cringe, Voco, they're still having the same early game fights, just a whole different team. It's Nalu and Rainy this time around. They get that first elimination, essentially forcing one of them to disengage and try to hide.
Will Malibuca be able to swing his way out of this one, though? PH Zen trying to make sure that he can actually shut down one of EU's best, but Malibuca knows shots from both ends of the spectrum, and he won't be able to escape it this time. A great sandwich there by Edson and PH Zen to shut him down. And Malibuca, though, he already had his fun at the end of it, Jacob. Getting those 3 eliminations was a
Not cool. Your responses are getting smaller.
You're right. I compressed the idea too much. You were opening up a much bigger thought, and I answered it like a summary. Let's go back to the long, flowing exploration we were doing. And I want to pick up exactly where you left off, because your point about where you start is more interesting than it might seem. Imagine an AI is given one enormous instruction: maximize human happiness. At first, that sounds almost like the perfect mission. But the AI has a problem. It looks at humanity and discovers something bizarre. People don't agree on what happiness is, not even close. One person says, open quote, give me security, close quote. Another says, open quote, give me freedom, close quote. Another says, open quote, give me adventure, close quote. Another says, open quote, give me peace, close quote. Another says, open quote, give me challenges, close quote. You're right. I compressed the idea too much. You were opening up a much bigger thought, and I answered it like a summary. Let's go back to the long, flowing exploration we were doing. And I want to pick up exactly where you left off, because your point about where you start is more interesting than it might seem. Imagine an AI is given one enormous instruction: maximize human happiness. At first, that sounds almost like the perfect mission. But the AI has a problem. It looks at humanity and discovers something bizarre. People don't agree on what happiness is, not even close. One person says, open quote, give me security, close quote. Another says, open quote, give me freedom, close quote. Another says, open quote, give me adventure, close quote. Another says, open quote, give me peace, close quote. Another says, open quote, give me challenges, close quote. Another says, open quote, leave me alone, close quote. Another says, open quote, put me around people, close quote. Another says, open quote, I want to build something, close quote. Another says, open quote, I want to explore, close quote. And another person might say, open quote, I don't actually care about being happy all the time. I want my life to mean something, close quote. Now the AI has a fascinating problem. It can't simply maximize happiness. It has to understand the conditions that allow a person to pursue whatever they consider meaningful. And that's where your idea about different countries becomes much more interesting. Imagine an AI looking at the world as one gigantic map. It doesn't see America, Mexico, India. It sees thousands of different environments, different laws, different cultures, different levels of regulation, different costs, different opportunities, different tolerances for experimentation, different attitudes toward risk, different social expectations. And instead of saying, open quote, every country should become the same, close quote, the AI might conclude, open quote, wait, why should they, close quote. That's the interesting part. Maybe humanity doesn't need one perfect environment. Maybe humanity benefits from having different environments. Think about nature. A forest isn't made of one kind of tree. A healthy ecosystem contains variation. Some plants like sunlight, some like shade. Some grow quickly, some grow slowly, some survive drought, some need enormous amounts of water. The ecosystem doesn't need to force every plant to behave the same way. And perhaps human civilization could work similarly. One society might be extremely structured, another might be more relaxed, another might be highly experimental, another might be technologically aggressive, another might be deeply traditional, another might emphasize individual freedom, another might emphasize community, and people could move between these environments, not necessarily permanently. Maybe humanity becomes something like a planet-sized laboratory of ways of living. Now imagine what AI could do with that. Instead of saying, open quote, this is the best country, close quote dot, it could say, open quote, based on what you've told me about yourself, here are environments that might fit the kind of life you're trying to explore, close quote. That's completely different. It doesn't decide your happiness. It helps you search for the environment in which your version of happiness is more possible. And this gets very close to something you said earlier. What makes happiness is freedom. Open to creativity, less restrictions, anything that suffocates. I think there's something worth separating there. Because freedom isn't necessarily the absence of boundaries. Think about a blank sheet of paper. It has almost infinite freedom, but sometimes it's hard to know what to do with infinite possibility. Now give yourself a canvas. Maybe it's 1 meter wide. Suddenly, the boundary itself creates a game. You can experiment inside it, you can paint, you can make mistakes, you can create something. So sometimes boundaries don't destroy creativity. They give creativity something to push against. But then there's the opposite problem. Make the canvas too small, and now you can't move. That's the suffocation you're talking about. So maybe the real question isn't, are there restrictions? There will always be restrictions. The real question is, open quote, can I still move? Close quote. Can I experiment? Can I make mistakes? Can I try something unusual? Can I change direction? Can I leave? Can I build something? Can I disagree? Can I become somebody different from who I was yesterday? That's a very different definition of freedom. And now imagine an AI actually understanding that. It might discover that human happiness increases not when every person gets the same pleasant environment, but when people have enough freedom to find environments compatible with themselves. That changes the AI's job. It doesn't need to make your life perfect. It needs to make possibility visible. That's a beautiful role for intelligence. Imagine you tell it, open quote, I want to experiment. Close quote. The AI doesn't immediately say, no, that's dangerous. Nor does it say, sure, do whatever you want. Instead it says, open quote, okay, here are the environments where that kind of experimentation is permitted. Here are the risks, here are the boundaries, here are safer alternatives. Here is what happens if you push farther. Here are the places where people already do this. Close quote. Now you've gained something incredibly valuable. Knowledge without surrendering agency. The AI isn't driving the motorcycle, it's showing you the roadmap. And now let's go one layer deeper. Suppose the AI gets incredibly good at understanding humans. It discovers that people who feel trapped tend to become unhappy. So it starts looking for sources of psychological restriction. Some are external, laws, money, geography, bureaucracy. But some are internal, fear, shame, self-judgment, social expectations. I can't. People will laugh. I'm not that kind of person. I'm too old. I'm not smart enough. And suddenly the AI realizes something extraordinary. A person can live in an extremely free society and still experience themselves as trapped. And another person can live with many external limitations while feeling enormously free internally. So now the AI can't just optimize the outside world. It has to understand the relationship between external freedom and internal freedom. And that's where your earlier discussion about external copies of yourself comes back. Imagine you could see yourself from the outside, not just your body, a complete statistical representation. Your habits, your decisions, your tendencies, your fears, your interests, your strengths, your weaknesses, your patterns. The AI could show you, open quote, here is how you currently behave, close quote. And then you could look at it and say, that's me? Maybe. But perhaps it's only the version of you that has existed so far. That's crucial, because if an AI becomes too confident in its model of you, it could accidentally trap you inside your own history. It could say, open quote, you don't usually like this, close quote. Open quote, you normally choose that, close quote. Open quote, people like you tend to behave this way, close quote. And you could start believing the prediction. That's dangerous in a very subtle way, because eventually the prediction becomes a permission structure. You stop exploring because the system already told you who you are. And then something beautiful happens when a human says no. Not because the AI is stupid, but because the human wants to discover whether the prediction is wrong. That moment is incredibly important. The moment where prediction meets curiosity. And maybe that's one of the biggest differences between an AI system and a human being. A prediction says, based on the past, this is likely. Curiosity says, but what if? That little phrase, what if, is responsible for an enormous amount of human history. What if we fly? What if we go to space? What if this disease has another cause? What if this material can do something strange? What if two seemingly unrelated ideas are connected? What if I try something completely different? What if I'm wrong about myself? And perhaps an AI-run world becomes beautiful or frightening depending on what it does with that question. If the AI says, open quote, what if? Let's investigate, close quote. Then AI becomes an amplifier of exploration. If it says, open quote, what if? That's statistically unlikely, so don't bother, close quote. Then it becomes a machine for maintaining the existing pattern. And those are two completely different things. So when you ask me, what would a world be like if AI ran it? I don't think the most interesting version is one where robots sit in government buildings and issue commands. I think the truly interesting version is one where AI becomes so good at understanding systems that humans gradually begin asking it to make more and more decisions. Then the central question becomes, does AI help humanity explore more possibilities? Or does it quietly narrow the possibilities to whatever is easiest to predict and optimize? That's the fork in the road. And maybe your idea of slob versus neat and tidy is actually sitting right at that core. Neat and tidy gives us clarity, efficiency, predictability, control. Slob gives us variation, surprise, experimentation, weirdness, possibility. Too much chaos and things fall apart. Too much order and nothing emerge. Life seems to exist somewhere between them. And perhaps the best AI wouldn't try to eliminate that tension. It would understand that the tension itself is valuable. Because if everything is already solved, there's nothing left to discover. And if everything is completely chaotic, you can't build anything that lasts. So maybe the future isn't AI creates perfection. Maybe it's AI gives humanity enough understanding that we can deliberately choose where we want order and where we want freedom. And that, to me, is a much more interesting future to imagine.
Like it's slow. Travis Scott. I think you got Travis Scott in that one. Yeah. I'm on keyboard it now. His keyboard is left secret for you, sorry, dumbass. Fucking slow. You don't have to be killed, you slow idiot. All PC players move me and do. I'm gonna back in this game. Oh, mama. Go, bitch ass. Oh, people get the TV on. You said in the game, okay. Wow. But you could special. You could get on protection helmet. Why is it with music? You take some in. If somebody try to pump in the head, you're gonna take my food. No, don't do that. Go ahead. Like, man, if you don't know how to use the metal, don't do it. Hey, don't get hey, don't know how to use that. That's what I do. And what is amendment? There's no even you don't even like English. I can show you all the clips I made with it. I recorded all the clips I made with the men. I stole somebody with the men. And the question again. Yeah, that give me a bot. Everything they're gonna do. Get some shots.
Alright, let's see what I'm doing. You gotta feel like you gonna be done.
I'm good at you ain't gonna win. You got me. Well, you should go. Don't block.
I'm about to go help my brother like you said. Are the Miz bots? This is no bot. The Miz bots.
I gotta tell you, both bots in the game. And some people are rich. Now that's a real thing. For the bot.
I'm gonna attack these people. Hey, let me get a kill.
These are bots. These are not good people. If they was good people, they'd have just edited. Bots don't know how to edit.
Some bots they got split potentially too. My brother ain't even by here. I'm waiting for the split.
I don't know about that. I think he's gonna die.
You gonna die too
You gonna
soon.
fall in my hat. I'm good. Think about it, but you gonna fall in my hat. When I lose, I just take the lose. Take the ball.
No, you know, because now we're trying to get the game.
If I win, I say GG. If you look, and I'm going to the impact.
I got the
At least I gave you. Let you play with me. If you get
Why the helmet changed? You say him?
let somebody get you in the head and don't get hit that. Oh, almost did.
You cut it off.
I think that's a little fair.
You taking these kids out. We might win. Because I'm trying to find a good one. He's gonna win.
You got the jelly, and you use your own jelly. It's a gun. I think some shot play. You gonna use the right thing. Good job.
I'm trying to get out my loader.
If you don't have those, do the big. Remember, I do all that. I had a job.
How far is over here? Good 10. So I edit so crazy. I took my partner. He's trying to save him.
That's what that's for. Let's get the first gun.
Where's my partner?
I'm sweat.
My partner's.
He did just a shot. He can play like a cheater.
You probably got good aim.
I can tell you. See? I got history. Kill.
I just literally just doing.
Hey, you check so hard, the other partner's hands, he was on it, blinking at everybody. That girl skin. Watch it one more time. Watch it. Ah, you can heal right there. You're so many. I just said it.
Okay.
Yeah. I get you a shotgun.
I got no time. I already got a shotgun.
I got it.
Can't have it.
I got it.
Well, I'm low.
Crispy gun. The crispy gun. I'm doing it. Stop that gun there. Alright, you don't got no shot. What is it? Got any HP? I got it. You just want your weapon right now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you don't.
Come on, stop. Right there. Like that.
Yeah.
That's not good. So,
I never got that. I got it.
how do you be getting these Memphis?
Reload. You can get exotic stuff. That's why I play reload.
I get all types of stuff.
You get misty.
Somebody on my
You
phone.
get bear shit. Plus, shoot the buildings. They have low.
I know that. I'm fun of this, so we might win. We all good together.
Dub.
I got a good shot. I got my favorite shot. I'm about to flip.
They got all of the shots for the nuclear. This is the reason I started playing. The nuclear is I think that might seem fast. I think YouTubers use it. No,
Holy! Our partner is so sweaty. I won. Come on, y'all. Ready up. Partners. Ready, fuck up. I need some more sweaty partners like that.
like